All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm very pleased to introduce today's fourth demo of our demo day focused on AI powered solutions with CYPHER Learning. AI enabled skills management make personalized skills development a reality. We have with us Jennifer Geisler, the Chief Marketing Officer at CYPHER Learning, and Alexia Sanchez, Senior Solutions Architect at CYPHER, and they are going to guide us through our demo. Passing it over to you, ladies, to take it away for us.
Great, thank you. Appreciate being here today with you. A little bit about CYPHER Learning, just briefly. We are a learning management platform, which also has the learning experience platform all in one. And we're all about making things way easier for all of you today. And one of the things that we've been looking at from an AI standpoint is we've been really making great inroads on our AI course creation. Now, we won't be necessarily talking about that today because we shared that on last year's demo day. But we've made great strides in that. I don't want to have that lost on us today. But what we are going to talk to you today, it's about AI-enabled skills management. Now, most of you might have heard of AI-enabled skills management, and you typically hear that in context to talent platforms, which is great. There's a lot of great capabilities for AI-enabled skills management on a talent platform. What we are going to be discussing with you here today is about how you can use AI-enabled skills management on a learning platform and the power that's going to give you to take over all that manual work that is actually slowing you down from delivering on the promise of not only skills development, but personalized skills development. Now, I want to give you this quote. This quote comes from a Gartner document entitled Innovation Insight for AI-Enabled Skills Management. And what the quote says here, it says, HR leaders will benefit from investing in this technology at an early stage. Trying to set up a stable structure first is wasted effort. AI-enabled skills management will quickly become a foundational capability for any organization. So now that I have your attention on how much of an impact this can make, I'd like to touch upon the things that we look at delivering with an AI-enabled skills management capability. The first is we're able to use AI to create a set of skills that map directly back to content. So you may have standards that you map to, which is great. You may have existing standards that you've already created. But in the situation where you say, I want to create a new set, we use AI to actually create a new set that maps to the content that you want people trained on. Now, granted, you can review it, you can make sure it meets everything, you can edit it. But imagine how much time that will save you if you can have the content and say, okay, what skills map to this content? What would be achieved on actually going through this content as a learner? So that's number one. Now, number two is you have those skills identified, right? Whether you did it, had it created for you, or you have it done off of a standard or existing skill set. We use AI to map all those skills to the course, to the chapter, module, section, whatever the case may be. It maps it all the way through. And we need that, right, in order to actually do personalized skills development and actually to measure, but we typically don't do it because it's so manual, it's so intensive, right? Now, once we have that mapping done in the content, now what we do is we use AI to create the assessments, like the quizzes, right? For example, those quizzes are created with questions that actually map to those skill sets, that map to the content for you. I know it sounds too good to be true. It's amazing, but that's what it actually does, right? And typically, we just don't ask for a question for just a skill set just once, right? Because you may get lucky. But we usually have our assessment that asks the question multiple ways, just to ensure that the learner actually learns it. Now, you have all this great information. Now what you do is you use AI to actually pull this through on the reporting side, right? We're able to assess the level of mastery by mapping to these skills for an individual, for a group, or for the organization. And this allows you to help the learner identify what things do they need to go back and learn to really achieve mastery. As opposed to saying they pass or fail or they get an 80%, you're still at a loss because we don't know what did they master and what do they need to master? What did they miss out? What's the gap? Now, let's take this even one step further, right? We can create the skills, we do the automatic mapping for you to all the content, we create the assessments, and the assessments map to the skills, and now we have this great reporting. Imagine going to your executive management and say, this is the level of mastery that we have for this particular department. And we have a gap of these 3 things. And we have a program in place to close that gap. And then imagine going back after you do that and say, we had this gap, we actually put in this program, now we have closed that gap, and now we have 99% mastery, and you can do that at the granular skill level. That is making personalized skills development a reality, not just for the learner, but for you in order to articulate and demonstrate the value that you're providing to the organization by making sure as we do the skills development that it's for the learner, but show how it actually benefits and the impact it's making to the business. So at this point, I hope you're excited as I am to actually see this live. And I'll turn that over to my colleague, Alexia Sanchez, to take it from here.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Jennifer. And yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at the platform and how this is going to change the way that we are utilizing AI so far. What we are doing currently is that we are utilizing AI into a more limited scope. As instructional designers, we use it to create courses. But what happens if we go outside of that scope and we just use it in a non-traditional manner so that we can upskill and reskill learners in a comprehensive mode? We understand that all of these learners want to have something comprehensive, and as well for LMS administrators. So what the CYPHER Learning platform is able to do is going to provide the learners with this type of dashboard that you are currently viewing. This type of dashboard will allow them to have in one single place the courses and the trainings that they have been assigned to or that they have enrolled themselves into, but it will also provide them with a goals area. This goals area, what it will do is that it will track skills at a fine grain. AI is going to enhance the upskilling and reskilling of the users, because what we're going to be able to do is to specifically target certain materials that are going to be aligned to the user's personal goals. In the CYPHER Learning platform, goals can be of 2 different types. It can either be job titles that you as an organization define. And here, as Jennifer was mentioning earlier, you will be able to bring in your skill maps, or you can also utilize our built-in library from the European Common Frame, or as well the ONET. Additionally, if you like, you can have AI generate those maps or those competencies for you, because that is where we typically invest the majority of the time. The CYPHER Learning platform will enhance those working times, and it will help you align the skills to the content and to the goals. Additionally, we can also have sets of skills as goals. So with this, the learner will clearly understand what are going to be the sets of the skills that are aligned to their job titles or to the goals, and what they have to do in order to achieve that goal. In here, what you are viewing over here is that this user is currently an account executive. But what about AI helping you also do a career pathing? So this learner can also become a sales manager. And the learner will understand the shared mastered skills and which other skills they will have to master in order to perform as a sales manager. Let's take a look into the account executive job title. So this learner as an account executive knows that over here are the sets of the skills that are going to be aligned to his job title. And what the CYPHER Learning platform will do is provide you with a detailed breakdown of how many moments the learner has put into practice that set of skill and how well they are performing or mastered that skill. The CYPHER Learning platform will help you track skills at a fine grained level. And that is what makes us very different. AI will open as well different opportunities for your organizations, such as doing personalized recommendation of content. And it is going to be aligned specifically to the user's requirements or to a specific sets of skills. And it will also recommend different pathways through particular sets of skills at the same time. What you are viewing is a gap analysis that it is being shared to the learner, but also for managers, facilitators, instructors, and LMS administrators. They will also be able to have the overview of how the users are mastering this particular sets of the skills. We can see and identify very quickly over here that as an account executive, an area of opportunity for this learner specifically is going to be this particular skill. While the other sets of skills, this user may have already mastered. So imagine what you are going to be able to do with AI. You are going to identify very quickly what is it that your learners should be focusing on. What we are doing with this is that we are ensuring that the learners are understanding where they are heading towards, and as well to have recommendations that are accurate and relevant to their learning goals. With this, organizations are going to be able to tackle any learning gaps that the learners have. So this learner is going to receive recommendations of courses, of groups, and as well of learning objects that are going to be specific to their goals. The platform will be able to identify what are those learning gaps and what are the learner's goals. So the recommendations are going to be personalized based on each learner. No recommendation is going to be repeated. So with this, what we are going to be able to do is that we can tackle that specific learning gap in that moment. As a manager, as an LMS administrator, I will be able to identify that perhaps I need to focus on the customer psychology, and I will be able to create a course very quickly to be able to address that learning need that our learners are having. So with this, the platform is going to be able to provide you with this type of understanding. And this is very important as well for the learners, because what you are doing ultimately is that you are generating engagement. As a learner and as an employee, we are going to be able to let them know what they have to work on. It is something that it is going to be laid out very clearly and specifically for the users, at the same time as they are receiving recognition and an understanding of how all of the training courses are going to be lined up to provide them with a much better performance under this job title or goal or skill. So with this, the system is going to provide them a rating. Now, I'm sure that many of you may be wondering about how do we get the ratings. The ratings are going to be, it's going to be based on a formula that you can customize. Just to give you a quick example, we're going to be able to do even, for example, by average, or we can give more weight to the last times that the learners have put into practice these skills. So all of these skills that you are currently viewing are going to be mapped to different courses and as well to different assessments. So for example, if we hit on the details area, we're going to see that this specific skill is going to map to these courses over here and specifically to these two activities, dealing with difficult customers over here in a quiz or in a project assignment, or effective communications techniques, it is going to be mapped in this area. So imagine for you to be able to provide your employees, your learners with this type of capabilities so that they can have an insight of how they are performing, how everything that they are working on is going to add up for them to be able to perform better at this moment. And they will be able to understand and see very clearly where these scores and ratings are coming from. And with the help of AI, it will enable recommendations that are going to be accurate and relevant. That is going to be different. Machine learning, typically what it does is that it does recommendations based on popularity or based as well on the interest of the user. Our AI enabled skills management component, what it does is that it makes it personal to each user based on the mapping of the skills so that we can really track and understand what learners are learning, what they are really getting out of that. It's even more important to be utilizing the skills nowadays because you don't want just to cover the materials, but you want to ensure that the learners are really acquiring those new skills, that they are understanding them. So with this type of view, you are going to be able to provide them with that opportunity. And what's even more, the Q&A forum will provide the learners with a space where they can share questions and answers and best practices with specialists or those users who are already performing very well so that you can also have that social learning component and a sense of community on that in that manner. So with this, the learner will clearly understand what is it recommended for them that will get them closer to where they are wanting to go. In this manner, they will be able to see the recommendations that they have all aligned to their learning path and their learning goals so that they will be able to acquire those sets of the skills that they will require. The CYPHER Learning platform will provide them insights in the reasons behind why these courses or groups or resources are being shared. So this is going to tell me, okay, if you join this group, it's going to help you obtain or get closer to your goal of becoming a sales manager. As you can see, I will understand whether the recommendation is of a learning objective, if it's going to be a group, or if it's going to be of a course. So really what the CYPHER Learning platform is doing is that we are utilizing a deeply integrated skill concept so that we can keep monitoring everything that it is happening, but as well, at the same time, we're making it a very comprehensive module for the learners. So how are we going to be able to track it from the perspective of an administrator or from a managerial perspective or as an instructor? Right now, I am moving back into the point of view or perspective of an administrator in the CYPHER Learning platform. You'll see that what we can do is that we can track for each of our learners what is it's their mastery levels of each of the certain skills. So I can see over here for this learner how they are doing in acquiring those sets of the skills. And I will see I have the data points, which is the number of activities in which they have put into practice that specific skill, an average, and a rating. So over here, I will be able to identify that understanding customer psychology is something that I will be able to focus on with this learner. So with that in mind, I will be able to enroll the learner into that specific course if I already have a course. Now, what happens if I want to tackle a gap, a learning gap, and I still don't have the content? That's where AI will also come in to help us. And what we're going to be able to do is that we're going to uh, tell the system to create and to help me generate a course in that moment. What the AI Enabled Skills Manager will allow you to do is to be able to have a just-in-time approach to learning and development. It will help you generate the content whenever the learner needs it. Now it's not going to be more of prescribing content, but also being able to provide the learners with what they want and what they need in that moment. So over here, we said that we are wanting to work with this learning gap, understanding customer psychology. So the system is going to be able to come in here and help me by creating that course. So I will be able just to type in here the title for that course for sales executives over here. And what we're going to be able to do is that we're going to align that new course to that specific skill that we are looking to tackle, looking to master. So what we're going to do is that over here on the right hand, our course creator, Copilot, is going to ask me a bunch of questions that will allow me to create or generate a course that is more relevant and more accurate and aligned to what we're looking for. But the important piece is that the AI tool will also help me map it and align it to that specific set of a skill. In here, please notice that we have the option either to generate a new sets of skills, or we can use an existing set of libraries. So for example, over here, if I hit add from the library, I will be able to see built in sets of libraries. And I believe that we have a question in the chat about where are these skills coming from. So right now you're actually taking a look into our pre-built library of skills. This pre-built library of skills come from the European Common Frame or the ONET. So it's not just invented and the newly created skills. These are going to be industry standards that are going to be recognized worldwide. So with this, you can select from over here, or if you already have your own skill map, you can come in here and upload it and create your own taxonomy in the platform. So over here, I am going to look for that specific skill that it was mapped to that gap area. And I will select over here, dealing with difficult customers. So I'm going to be able to add them into the platform, sets of sub skills mapped in the light to that bank of skills. And I will be able to tell the system. So for the learner, the piece where I have a gap is going to be on understanding the customer. Effective communication and active listening skills have already been tackled, have been utilized. So I can check and tell the system, create and generate a course just utilizing only that specific skill that we are looking for. So what we're going to then be able to do is that we are going to define perhaps what we want is going to be a micro course. And as well, something important to notice is that with AI, we'll also be able to do a cross-check of the content with another layer of AI that will enhance the content that we already have by making it more accurate and relevant. We don't have to worry about the AI having hallucinations because the AI will also bring another different AI to make sure that the output is what we are wanting. So with this, we're going to be able as well to add images, videos, glossaries, study guides. We can also tell the system to create certain number of pages of content, certain types of activities and assessments as well. So we're going to be able to generate a course the way that we want to. We can even gamify it in that sense. So with this, what we are really doing is that we're tackling two issues that we have found in the industry. Where are we spending our time? Are we spending our time having to come up with a new taxonomy for AI? Or are we spending a lot of time tagging content, resources, activities with skills? With CYPHER Learning, what you will be able to do is to reduce that time and move it so that you are focusing on what really matters, which is you upskilling and reskilling your users and being able to address their learning needs and those gap analysis as you need them. So with this, what we have been able to do is that in just a matter of seconds, we have already created a micro learning course so that we can then come into the platform and bring in the learners who may share this common knowledge gap. And we can come in here and say the same learner who was Travis in this case is going to be now assigned and enrolled to this course. So with that, what this AI tool will be able to provide you is with a concept of goals that are going to be all working cohesively so that it will provide the learners with a full support. It's not only just as a skill, just doing a recommendation. It goes beyond that. It goes to help you explore as well options. So where you can grow, how you can have that continuous engagement. Because right now we have just assigned the learner to this specific course, but the learner will also have the opportunity to continue their professional development, as with the recommendations, they will be able to look for further opportunities. And as well as a manager, I will be able to come back into my user's profile. I will be able to see what are the goals that have been assigned. And maybe I will say over here, you know what, I'm going to assign either a job title because he may want to grow into the next job position and he's ready. So I will want that user to be able to progress. Or maybe it's just a set of a skill. So if this learner is lacking a little bit of assistance on a specific area in the sales department, I'm going to be able to come in here, browse through that library that I have, and maybe it's going to be just my specific area where I am going to be able to assign that learner that goal, so that the CYPHER Learning platform takes it from there and it will do the recommendation of the pathway for the learner. No recommendation is the same for the learners because the recommendations are going to be based on your performance and how well you are acquiring those skills in that manner. So the CYPHER Learning platform will provide you with a holistic approach to learning and development, where you are going to be able to go into very granular levels of information to track not only the progress of the learners, but how well they are growing. And if I want to be able to analyze it from the point of view of an instructional design, we're going to be able to do the same as well, because I am going to be able to understand how my courses are helping me. And I will be able to say, for example, in this course that we just created, over here, I'm going to have the mastery area where I can see how this course is mapped to my modules and to the activities over here. Everything is done in just a matter of seconds. So with that, I'm gonna pass it back over to my colleague, Jennifer.
Yeah, wow. I think we just want to learn more and more and more, but Alexandria, I don't know much how if we have time for questions today or.
We are right at the 2:45 mark, so we're going to take a quick 15-minute break. But as we can tell, there is so much to learn about CYPHER Learning. I know you could have kept going, Alexia, so thank you both so much. I know that Jennifer was answering some questions in the chat throughout, so take a look at those responses. And if you didn't get your question answered, or if we have new questions that haven't even been asked yet, make sure you reach out to the CYPHER Learning team. They have resources available on their site if you want to understand more about AI and not even just about their product. So check that out. We'll see everyone back at 3 for our final and 5th demo of this afternoon. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.